Hey, hello everyone. I'm sorry that I got some issue on my camera, so I will try to figure out what's going on here in this meantime, but if you can say what's your name and where you're from, that would be great. So just a minute. If you can just say hi and just say your name and where are you talking from, that would be great because we're gonna give some time until we get started. Hello, I see someone here, and just to let you know, I got an issue on my camera, and but we're gonna go like that. In the meantime, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. And if you have any question, just send a message. Just send a message, and you can tell me what you do, where you're from, and I will check your message as soon as possible. Okay, hello. I see 4 people now. So if you can say hello and say what you're doing. Okay, so yeah, it seems I really can't. For my camera, for some reason, it's not working. So, but yeah, we're gonna go like that because I can't make you wait. So we have to do it anyway. So who else is here? Just tell your name. And okay, so we have 6 people now. Let's get started then. Let's get started. So, uh, well, before we get started. If you can tell me any of your issues, any of your problems that you're having in your career, that would be great. And in the meantime, I will be preparing here the slides and everything else. But if there is no question, it's okay. We can get started like that. And hello, Said. Very good. Thank you. And you? Okay, that's great that we have people from all over the world here. Okay, so let's get started. Let me start sharing my screen. Because since we don't have the camera, at least I'm gonna share something. Okay, guys, so today we're gonna be talking about the 4 steps to become a highly paid software engineer and have more time for your family, because I know that we don't want to be working all the time. We want to have some time for our families, and this is very important. We need to do less work and earn more. So I think that's important for us. And for those who don't know me, I'm Rafael Del Nero, and I help Java developers to break their career limits so they become highly paid developers and highly employable. Okay. So, what are the benefits to do this webinar? So, in this webinar, you learn how to elaborate on a plan of action and gain clarity, because clarity is extremely important. Without knowing what you want in your career, you can't do anything. And we're going to be also talking about how to work on yourself to overcome limiting beliefs. I had many limiting beliefs. I thought I was purely technical. I thought that I would never be able to give a talk, but I overcame this limiting belief. And it wasn't only me. Other people also believed that, okay, Rafael is only technical and he will be only doing technical stuff. And that was preventing me to grow in my career, for example. And I know most of you here, guys, you are experienced developers. And when I noticed that, things changed in my career. So you're going to be also learning how to communicate better, because, in interviews, many managers told me that they will value a lot the way you communicate. So that's very important. How to negotiate, because I know this is very neglected. Developers don't like to negotiate. Developers don't like communication. Developers don't like anything that's not technical, and that's okay, because I've been there. And but it was a mistake. I wasn't growing my career because I was neglecting those very important skills. And you're going to also learn how to market yourself as a software engineer, because I see that most developers, the only marketing tool they have is their curriculums, is their CVs, and they can do much more than that. Okay? So why it's worth it to be in this webinar then? Because you're going to learn how to earn more and work less. I know that many developers want to work less. They don't want a lot of stress. They don't want to be studying all the time and doing nothing with this knowledge. I know that. I know that there are many developers who study a lot of subjects and they can't retain this knowledge. I know this is the situation, and I know that for many developers, it's a big problem to keep up with technologies, because nowadays it's crazy. There are so many technologies, so many things to learn, that it's just crazy. You're going to also become more confident and overcome fears. So that's why I talk about mindset. So mindset is important for developers as well. Mindset, I know that many developers will hear about mindset and they will think, oh, what I'm doing here, like, I don't want to learn about mindset, but it is important. It is crucial. It is important because I've been there. I thought that only technical knowledge was important, and what was happening is that everyone else was getting promoted and I was stuck. So that's why I will tell you that. And you're going to be able to increase your current salary, because I was a low paid software engineer as well. I didn't know how to negotiate. And when I learned some techniques about negotiation, things changed. Uh, you're going to also be able to work in a better projects with better technologies, have more time for you, and you're going to improve, obviously, your quality life by that. Um, your life quality, sorry. And you're going to be valued and highly demanded by large companies. So uh, if you learn things outside of the technical scope, you maximize, you multiply your value. I'm not saying again that technical knowledge is worthless. It's on the contrary, it's extremely important. You have to be always studying technical stuff, because nowadays it's even, we need to study so much. There's so many technologies, so many things, but we have also to find the balance, because if we keep on studying everything and doing nothing with this knowledge, it's a waste of time. It's almost the same as nothing. So, okay, so like I told you, I was stuck in my career years ago, because, well, I was seeing everyone getting promoted, and I was in the same place. Even though I was studying a lot technical stuff, I was doing my own projects, I was practicing a lot on those skills. And even though I gained visibility in the company I was working for, and the teams wanted me to work for them and to produce code and to um, develop some features, I didn't know anything outside of the technical area. So this holded me back. So I thought that technical knowledge was enough. I was doing lots of courses. I was even with a lot of visibility in the company I was working for. But the thing is that I didn't have any skill with, like, my skill was very poor with people, negotiation, mindset, or communication. So it was very poor. All of those skills was very poor. So my mindset was holding me down, because even though I was a developer in high demand in the company I was working for, I was purely technical, and I didn't have the courage to talk to my manager to ask for a raise. So what happened is that I was an intermediate developer for a long time. So, and I thought naively that, okay, if I study only technical stuff, I will grow in my career. But I was completely wrong, because everyone was growing, everyone was getting promoted, I was stuck. And I wasn't working on my mindset, I wasn't working on my negotiation skills, I wasn't working on my communication skills. So I was 100% focusing on the technical stuff, and it was a big mistake. It was a big mistake. So I'm here to show that why this is important. Because when I faced my fears, when I started working on my mindset, when I started learning a little bit more about negotiation, then I was able to talk to my manager and say, hey, I've been doing a lot here. I've been bringing value here. So I think I'm ready to become a senior developer. And then after I faced my fear, then I got the promotion, and things started to change in my career. And uh, then when I broke this limitation I had, this fear, then things got a lot easier. So, and because I went through that and figured out the solution to grow in my career, I want to share that with you so that you also can unlock your potential in your career. Because I know it's not only me, there are many developers who have the same problem and are stuck in their career. And um, so how could I break this limitation I had? So by attending conferences, I was attending conferences, I met my mentor who showed me the way to go to the next level. And then I figure out, okay, that's what I'm doing wrong. So I'm gonna change my strategy. So I'm gonna work on non-technical skills as well. And that's changed a lot. So that was a breakthrough in my career. So, like I told you, I discovered that technical knowledge is not enough. We need to develop other skills, such as uh, mindset to overcome challenge. So, if I didn't overcome my challenge, my limitation to talk to my manager to get the promotion, I would never get. I would never become a senior. I would be stuck there for many years. And we need to learn also how to market ourselves, because I know this is a skill that many developers don't work. Uh, they don't do. They just do the basics. They just have their CVs, and that's there's very the it's limiting. It's it limits you. It limits your career. Negotiation is so important. If you learn a little bit of negotiation, if you know that you are a low paid software engineer, or you have a reasonable salary, you may be able to double your salary just if you learn a little bit of negotiation. And communication is important because you want to communicate clearly in an interview. So, okay, so I think we have enough context to get started. So I'm going to show you a step by step to for you to understand how to grow in your career. And this is a process that I used and I've been using in my career that will help you as well. Okay. So it's 4 steps. And I'm going to show you here. Okay. So Vincent is saying something here. Okay. Hello, Vincent from France. So Vincent is saying that in the last Stack Overflow survey, the salary poll shows that a full stack dev in the US earns 140, and an Indian full stack dev 160,000. To earn more, yeah, sometimes, Vincent, yes. Sometimes we need to move countries, and that's okay because I did that. I am originally from Brazil, and I moved to Ireland to obviously grow my career and have. Okay, 16,000. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's a big difference. Hello, Simon. Yeah, 10 times less. Yes. So nowadays we have a globalized world, right, Vincent? So this is, yeah, that's for sure, something that we can do as developers. So it's a global profession. So we can work in any country we want. So um, a developer from India, he or she can move to another country. So that's true. In some countries, the salary will be very low. So Mills is saying, is it really need to move to other place for a bigger salary? Couldn't we cover that with remote work? That could be possible, Mills, but I think it's more difficult to get a remote job. But it's still possible. It's still possible. Okay, so Habib is saying here, hello everyone, from Lagos, Nigeria. Well done, Rafael. Thank you so much for your nice words. There's also the cost of living. Yeah, for sure. But even still, that's a crazy difference. It's 140 to 60K. So that's a reality. We have to face it. In some countries, your salary will be low. And you have to make a decision. Do you want to be a highly paid software engineer? If you really want, sometimes you're gonna have to move. You're gonna have to move to another country, like I did. I'm originally from Brazil and I moved to Ireland to have a better salary, to have better life quality. So as I did, you can do that as well. Okay, so great. So let's get started. We don't have much time. So we're going to talk about the 4 steps to become a highly paid software engineer and have more time for you and for your family. I know this is very important for you. You want more time for you. You don't want to be studying all the time. You want life quality, and that's okay. So let's talk about that. Before everything, it's very important for you to take some notes. So if you can get your Google Docs or your notebook, you can just take some notes to absorb the content better, okay? So we're going to be exploring here about how to get clarity so that you can figure out what you want for your career. And then we're going to be talking about no bugs. So we're going to be talking about some technologies that are important in the market. And then we're going to be talking about how to boost your CV so that you can market yourself better. And then communication, because like I said, this is something that managers, they really like in a developer. They want a developer who communicates clearly. And learning quickly, we need to learn so much as software developers. So that's why we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about how to negotiate your salary, because I know this is neglected by almost all software engineers. And if you know that, that makes a big difference in your career and in your salary. Giving talks, I know this is quite neglected. This is difficult to do. I know this is caring to give a talk. I know, it's hard. I've been there. But it's worth it. Once you learn how to give a talk, you become a very rare software engineer, the top 1% for sure. And how to share your knowledge. Okay, the step 1 is no procrastination. Get clarity. So the first thing, you have to figure out what is your dream, okay? So my dream was to move to Europe and work as a software engineer in Europe. I already realized this dream. So I'm living my dream. Now I have other dreams, and that's okay. You have a dream at first. When you achieve this dream, you're going to have more dreams. And of course, dreams are different than goals, because dreams are big goals, are big things that you have to take massive action to achieve that. In my example, to move to Ireland and get a job here as a software engineer, I had to study English, I had to work on my technical skills, I had to work on my soft skills so that I could get a job here and have a career here. You have also to reflect, understand your dreams. So why do you want maybe to move abroad, or why do you want to maybe work for a big company such as Google, Red Hat, or Meta? So you have to really reflect and understand why do you have that. And like I said, when you achieve one dream, you're going to have other dreams. A dream is a long-term objective. It's not an easy thing. A dream is something that even gets you a little bit scared, because it was a big step for me. I was still living with my parents when I was in Brazil, and then when I moved here to Dublin, I was living on my own, and I had to learn the culture. I had to do everything. So it's changed a lot. When you achieve a dream, your life changed a lot. And to achieve a dream, consistent actions are key. So when I decided to go to Europe, I was studying English consistently, and I was studying technical stuff consistently as well. Okay, so what are the dreams killers? So sometimes, and it's very easy for us as software engineers to have many plans, and this will lead us to no action. So it's better to have a very well defined plan, rather than having many plans and do nothing. Because once we have many plans, we get overwhelmed and we do nothing. And it's very common to not know where to start. So if you want to work for a company where you're going to use the best technologies, the top-notch technologies, sometimes you don't know even where to start. Or if you want to move to a country, or you are not sure about what country you want to go, sometimes you don't know where to start, and that's okay. But so that's why it's important for you to have the clarity, because once you decide, okay, it's that country, and then you can learn about that country rules. And if you have no daily habits, also it's very difficult, because I can't tell you how many times, how many days I've been with zero motivation to do the things that I had to do. But what keep me going is the discipline instead. It's not my motivation. My motivation is only strong in the beginning, but after 2 months, 3 months, after some time, your motivation goes. No, it's just your motivation won't hold you a lot of time. If you rely only on motivation to accomplish your objectives, you won't succeed. You have to rely on discipline. And the one of the most common excuses, and uh, what developers tell me a lot, is that they have no time to do what they want to do. But we have to change the way we say that, because it's not true that we have no time. Everyone has 24 hours in the day. What actually is the difference is it's the priorities. Do you prioritize your dreams or the other things from your life? So if you prioritize your dreams, for sure you're gonna find at least 1 hour a day. So we have to be careful the way we say those things. Sometimes we have excuses. We say, "Oh, it's my boss' fault, or it's my company's fault, it's the government's fault, it's my education's fault, is the fault of my parents," or whatever the excuse, and then we do nothing, because if it's something else, what's the point? Is you have no power to change. So we have many of those excuses, and we have to be constantly being aware that, okay, it's my full responsibility to grow in my career. I have to make it happen. So you have to keep that in your mind. So how to find out about your dream? So ask yourself, what would be amazing for you? What's the thing that you would really enjoy? Do you want to move abroad? Do you want to go to work in another country? Do you want a remote job? Do you want to be a nomad? Once you decide, then you can take actions to get there, and reflect about your life. So I know that sometimes we think we don't deserve to get what we want, but why not you? Because if you achieve your dreams, there's no harm. You will only be able to bring more impact and bring more benefits to companies and to other people. So why not you? And find out what are your passions and motivations. So what do you like to do as a software engineer? Do you like to create good code? Do you want to create architecture? Do you want to work with performance? Do you want to work with security or big data? So find out what are your passions. So what area of software engineering you like the most? So it's also important for you to write down what's your biggest dream. So for your personal life, professional, financial. So on your personal life, what could it be? Could it be um, if you want to have a family, for example, or if you want to move to another country, or if you want to travel to another country, or if you want to get fit? On your professional area, what kind of job do you want? And what skills do you want to improve? And on your financial area, obviously it's your salary. So it's important to write down what's the salary you want, because then you're going to have an idea. Okay, those are my goals. Now I have to figure out how to get there. And obviously don't put a very unrealistic goal, Put something that's realistic, that you know that it's possible to achieve in 1 year. You can even imagine what's the ultimate level you imagine yourself. And if you write down as much details as possible, your subconscious mind will absorb that as reality. So it's great to do this exercise. And remember, you don't need to write down the perfect goal, the perfect dream, because this document can always be refined. But it's important for you to take this action. And if you have any questions, just send a question. Okay, we have a question here. Vincent is saying, how do you ask a raise when you had a raise last year? Okay, so we have more questions here. Yes, Sam, unfortunately my camera, I don't think it's gonna work, so we're gonna have to keep it up like that. So Mills is asking, when you say clear communication, what that actually means? That's a good question, Mills. So clear communication means to basically for you to be direct and concise. You don't want to be you don't want to explain a concept in a very complicated way where not even you would understand. So communication is also related to your code, right? So when you are coding, you are communicating, right? Because other developers have to be able to understand your code. So if you write a method with 500 lines or 1000 lines, that will be extremely complicated. So instead, it's much better for you to write a code that's a method, a class, and a method that does one thing and only one thing. So this is an example of clear communication. You are communicating clearly to other developers. So you are creating clean code. You are creating good method names. You're creating good classes names. So clear communication is the way you organize your ideas. So if you can organize your ideas in a clear way, in a way that other people can understand you, then that's good communication. But if you take a long time to explain something simple or even something that is a bit complicated, then it's not good communication. You have to be able to explain things, have to be able to make other people understand you. That's why this is crucial in an interview, because if the interviewer don't understand you, even if you go very well in the code test, even if you do very well in the system design interview, they will probably, they will reject you. So it's crucial to have good communication, because without communication, you can't even express your ideas. You can't even convince your colleagues that this technology or this methodology will help you. So communication is extremely important. And Vincent is asking here, how do you ask a raise when you had a raise the last year? So Vincent, to have a raise in your own company, you have to do a plan with your manager. So you have to let your manager aware that you want to grow in this company. So you have to create a plan with your manager, and you have to be clear and say, okay, hey manager, I'm creating this value here. Let's create a plan here. So, and make a clear plan with your manager. If you say, hey, if I achieve, so first you ask, hey manager, how can I be the top performer software developer here? And your manager has to be capable to answer you that. And then once you know, okay, that's the rules here, those are the rules in this company, then I know what to do. So you have to get this clarity with your manager. You can't simply get there to your manager and say, hey, give me a promotion. Unless you have a very clear way to show the value you're bringing to the table. So remember, you are negotiating with your manager, and your manager wants you to be there, but your manager needs to see the value you're creating to the company. So you need to create. So one thing that's useful, you can create a weekly report to your manager showing the value you are bringing, and you have to be aligned and say, hey, is that what you're expecting? Is that what you see as a top performer software developer here? You need to clarify those things with your manager, because it's he or she who will give you the raise, right? So you have to have, yeah, yeah, many objectives are not really measurable, but you have to find out to make it measurable. You have to talk to your manager, and your manager has to solve this problem. It's their job. It's their job to make it clear. And if they can't make their job, you do the job for them. You create some measurements. You can create, I don't know. Um, I gave 2 talks, or I convinced my team that working with these technologies um, will improve the productivity by 10% or whatever. So if you give 2 talks convincing your team to use that technology, that could be a good way to measure your progress. Or you could say, I was able to improve productivity of other developers by creating this component, passing a certification. Yeah, but a certification is not really, you're not creating value to the company by passing a certification, unless investors would value that, unless your manager values that. So you have to understand what are the rules in your company, because every company, the rules are different. So if you don't have this clarity with your manager, it's impossible to grow. You don't know what to do. You have to talk to your manager. And if you want to grow outside of your company, of course, you can. Yeah, you have to ask for your manager how you can create value. What's a top performer? What you have to do? You have to understand. You have to have this conversation with them. Otherwise, you don't know what to do. You are gonna be, you're gonna be blind, because you're gonna think that you're doing the right thing, but you have no idea. So you have to talk to your manager, do a plan, create a plan, understand the rules of the game, write it down, track it down. Yes, it's their job. It's the job of a manager to give you this clarification. Otherwise, it's impossible for you to grow unless you want to work in another company. If you want to work for another company, that's okay. Okay, so still have a question from Evgeny. I will just go ahead here for some time, and I will go back to your questions, okay? So let's continue here. Okay, so create smarter goals. So before creating your goals, you have to develop yourself on the journey. So you have to develop your mindset. Otherwise, it's going to be impossible to be consistent and persistent. Because, I sometimes, if I didn't have a strong mindset and a strong foundation, I would give up for sure, because it was very hard to finish my book, my Golden License book, and my second book, Java Challengers. If I wasn't relying on discipline, I would never finish them. Never, never, never. So it's important for you to rely on discipline instead, and play full out and go all in. Success starts within yourself, not outside. So don't look for external approval. That's a mistake. If you look for external approval, you always be empty, and you will never be successful. So success starts within. Remember that. There are those empires, for interior empires, that I like is from Robin Sharma. I really like his content. So what does that mean? It means to be healthy, to do exercises and eat well. Because if you're unhealthy, your productivity as a software developer will be worse. Why? Because if you do exercises, there are many scientifically proved studies that if you do exercises, you are able to learn faster. You have more energy, and we need to be learning all the time as software engineers. This is part of our profession. We need to be learning. So doing exercises will help you doing that. Eat well. You don't need to do a crazy diet. If you eat fruits, vegetables, and some staple foods, that would be great. And avoid eating junky food more than 3 times a week. If you eat more than that, then you're taking a risk of becoming unhealthy. And it's important for you to eat well, because that will also help you to be more productive as software engineer, and that will make you even happier. Heart set. So this is also very important. If you hold a grudge, if you hate someone, it's better for you to forgive this person, because if you hold a grudge, what's going to happen is that your energy will be drained by all of this grudge, all of this hate. So to be successful, you have to let go disappointments from the past. Let it go. Move on. I know this is easier said than done, but do the work. What you can do? You can do yoga. You can do meditation. You can um, go to the church, whatever is your religion. You can walk in nature. You can do many things to let go of those disappointments. So set living for a cause greater than yourself. This is difficult to find, right? This is not so easy to find your ultimate purpose, but it could be something smaller. So you could give your time to a community. You could donate some money to a cause you believe in. You can do something small as well for soul set. You can smile at people. You can do simple stuff. Uh, and mindset, of course, we've been talking about that a lot. So the Golden Lessons book is fully about mindset, how to bulletproof your mindset so that you can, for example, work on all of those empires. So if you can be strong on those empires, then you create a strong foundation where it's very, very hard for people to knock you down. Almost, I wouldn't say that you become invincible, because no one is invincible, but you become very strong. If you have all of those interior empires, you become a very strong person. Okay, so I talked about limiting beliefs. I had a limiting belief. I had a limiting belief that I was purely technical and I could never give a talk. My communication, that had the limiting belief that my communication was horrible, that my negotiation skills was also horrible. So I was nothing but a technical person. So yeah, I had a lot of limiting beliefs, but I had to overcome them. I had to break my own limits. And if I already made it, you can also make it. So if I broke my limits, if I'm here giving a talk, you can also do that. So I wasn't naturally a speaker. I had to develop myself in many areas of my life. So I had to learn many things on my own and figure things out. Like nothing came naturally. So I had to work hard for everything. And don't ever say negative things about yourself, because when you do that, you program your subconscious mind to believe that you are all the negative things you say. So even when you say something joking, be careful, because this will affect your subconscious mind and you really believe that all those negative things you say, they are true. So you have to try your mindset consistently. How you can do that? You can read personal development books, and there are very good books out there. So create smarter goals. So for example, what I did when I wanted a job here in Ireland, I sent CVs. I was using 15 minutes every day to send CVs. I went to LinkedIn, and from every 10 CVs, got something around 2 opportunities. 3 months doing it, exciting, feeling alive, talking in English, relevant. It will change your whole life. Obviously, if you change countries, yes, your whole life will be changed. Take action, guys. I think we don't have much time here, but you can do just you can access this document. This is the Challenger Planner. You can make a copy for you, and you can create a rough weekly plan for you. You don't need to do that now, but after this live, you can create a weekly plan. And so let me just show you very quickly here how you can do the planning. So it's very simple, as you can see. Here's the time, and here you put what you're gonna do. So, and here is the big five. So this is the big five objective. You can put how much of salary you want. So I don't know, let's suppose you want 12K, or you want to buy a house, I want to get fit, I want to give a talk. So make a copy for you of this document, create the big five. I think this is the most important. And then you can create an example of weekly plan here. Don't need to do that now, okay? And this is just a rough example. You don't need to use this document exactly. You can use whatever you want. You can use Kanban flow, for example. There are many tools to do the same thing. But the goal here is just to write down a plan. Yes, so use this Kanban flow as well, so you can take a look. Great, so let's continue. Okay. Okay, step 2, no bugs, learning quickly. So to learn more quickly, you have to understand the big picture. So check the table of contents from books. So you can do that very easily on Amazon. You can see the table of contents, and then you can have the big picture of any technology you want to learn more deeply. So if you want to learn Kubernetes more deeply, you can check a book. You can see the table of contents, and you can see, hey, this is important for me. I will learn this. Because remember the Pareto law, right? You can do most of the things you need with 20% of the whole thing, right? So if you learn 20% of Kubernetes, you're gonna be able to do most of the things you need, you know. So there is no need to invest many hours in many technologies. That's a waste of time. So you can search quick tutorials on YouTube. There's always the big picture videos on YouTube. You can check that to understand what are the most important points. And when you are learning something new, you have to define the scope. So for example, if you want to learn Java, you can create a small application. You can create a small CRUD. You can define an approximate time to accomplish what you defined. So let's suppose you want 1 month to create a simple Java application. That's more than enough. Then you can, I don't know, you can deploy this application in the cloud. You can use Docker. You can use whatever technology you want. And if you want to learn Docker, you can containerize Java application. You can use MongoDB. You can containerize both. And then you can deploy this application in the cloud. That could be a success goal. Because guys, only learning from books, only reading books, and only absorbing knowledge doesn't make a difference. You have to do something with this knowledge. So define success goal when you are learning a new technology. So for example, if you're learning Kafka, create 2 microservices, put them in the cloud, make them communicate to each other using Kafka, or use a Raspberry Pi, or whatever you want. So you have to define a success goal to understand those technologies. And to learn technologies, you have to find different resources. So it's good for you to read books, articles, tutorial videos, online courses, podcasts. You read source code, that's very good. If you read documentation, you can do pair programming. You can also talk to people who already know the concept you want to learn, because then they will give you some tips. They're going to say, hey, this is the path, this is the best path for you to learn this technology. So, and also you have to be curious, have to be generally curious, because when you're curious, you're going to be always looking for more knowledge. Step 3, no holding back, boosting your CV. So this is unfortunately the only way that most developers have their marketing. And it's okay, but this is not so powerful. But let's talk about CV. So you have to first understand what the market wants. So nowadays the market wants people who know about microservices. Cloud is extremely strong. I think it's around, I think it's almost 100% of the companies are deploying their services in the cloud. So nowadays there's no option. You have to learn, understand about the cloud. You have to figure out what are the hot technologies. And well, you probably know that in Java, uh, Java 11, I think, is the most popular nowadays in the market. Spring is the most popular framework, and AWS is the most popular cloud vendor. Of course, it will change from company to company, but usually the default stack is that one. And of course, you have to aim your CV to what the market wants. If you put there very old technologies like struts or whatever, they won't care, right? I don't think I think there are very few companies using struts or whatever old technology. So we have to aim our CV to what the market wants. That's extremely important. And in the LinkedIn profile, you have to use LinkedIn because there is where are the companies, there is where are the recruiters. They'll be looking for you. So you have to aim your LinkedIn to what the market wants. Because if you do that, you're going to see recruiters contacting you every day. And choose the keywords where you want to go. So if you want to work with microservices, and obviously this is what the market wants, put there the microservice technologies and avoid putting technologies that nobody knows, because this will be just a waste. And put your biggest highlights on the profile. So put there how many years of experience you have, because I guess that most of you here have more than 10 years of experience, and that's a lot. And separate your highlights by a pipe. So you can do that on your profile title. Focus. So the about session is the most important. And as I said, put there how many years of experience you have, because that's a great value. That's what the companies, that's one of the things that companies value. Put the highlights of your career there. So if you brought results by creating a component on your project that enhanced productivity by 10%, 20%, put that there, so that companies know very clearly that you are bringing results. And yeah, I have already told you that you need to put your years of experience. Regarding the photo, use the help of a professional photographer. That makes a big difference. And smile in the photo, because if you smile on the photo, you look more confident and more reachable and more friendly. About the clothes, you can use a technology t-shirt, or you can use a smart shirt. It's up to you. Doesn't matter too much. Ask for recommendation. So this is a universal law. This is the reciprocity law, and many people use that. So how is this reciprocity law? You give something to someone first, then this person will be very likely to give something back. So you can use the same technique when you ask for recommendation. So you recommend someone first, then you say, and when I say recommendation is when you talk about the good things for a person on LinkedIn. And then you can recommend this person, and then you can say, hey, by the way, if you can recommend me back, that would be great. And then probably the person will give you back. But it's important for you to have the giver mindset, because sometimes the person wants to give you back the recommendation. And it's important for you to not hold a grudge against this person. So have the giver mindset. But yeah, most of the times people will give you back the recommendation. So don't worry about that. Challenge 5, negotiating your salary. So the first step for you to figure out how much to ask. So you can take a look at Glassdoor, but keep in mind that Glassdoor, usually people will lie about their salaries. They will put something around 30 to, well, 30 to 15% less. So it's not so accurate on Glassdoor. You're gonna see much lower salary on Glassdoor than the reality. You can ask your friends directly. So if you have a close friend, just ask about their salary. So you don't need to uh, say a lot of words to your friends to ask their salary. If it's a close friend, you just ask directly. If it's someone that works with you but you're not so close, you can say, hey, can you tell me what's the range of the salary from someone who has on your position, for example? And then this person will tell you the range of the salary. And that's a nice way to ask because you're not asking directly the salary of the person. So you just ask like that. You can ask recruiters. They might not be 100% reliable because they also want to negotiate with you, but it's an option. And you can look also for opportunities on LinkedIn. You can use brute force. You can say, if someone contacts you and say, hey, do you want to work for me? And I say, hey, sure. Then you put a very high salary and then you see what happens. When you're doing the interview, you have to drive your value up to the company's eyes. So you have to show maturity in the way you communicate. You have to show that you're highly skilled and have to show the value you can add to the company. So if the company says, hey, we are moving our old project to Java into microservices, then you can say, hey, I already worked with that and I know what steps to take. And then you can show that to the company that you have the required skills they need. Then you're going to become a highly valuable software engineer for them. One of the first questions recruiters will tell you is about your salary, right? So they're going to ask, hey, what's your salary? Then if you tell your salary, you already lost the negotiation. So it's important for you to not reveal your salary. And you can simply say, hey, it's confidential. It's fine. They won't push you. They usually won't push you. And if they push you, say, hey, it's on my NDA contract. I can't reveal any information about that. And then you're gonna continue the negotiation. Then they might ask you, okay, so what's the salary you want? And then if you did your homework and if you know how much you can earn as a software engineer, then you say, hey, that's my salary. Then the negotiation starts. So, okay, challenge 6. Oh, any questions so far? Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so Evgeny asks, why did you choose Dublin? Because here is a country where I can use English. I don't need to learn another language. And they were opened here in the beginning because I didn't have the visa, for example, the European visa. So Ireland is an kind of an open country for foreigners. If you have the skills, they receive you well. And also, I know that here in Ireland, there are so many opportunities in IT. So this was another reason. So Dublin is a good city for our area of software engineers. So there are many reasons. Many reasons. Okay, so Chubb is asking, when working on a new concept, on completely new application, how to ask the team to help to have a basic local system set up. Many times the new team members. Yeah, so Chubb, I think it's well, first of all, it's a mistake to not have a document, right? You have to have a document with a step-by-step process, so that you don't need to ask people around to waste their valuable time by doing something that has to be done again and again. So my suggestion is to you to to call any developer, because if there's no documentation, it's their mistake, right? So you follow the process, but then you create the documentation. So once you follow this process, you create a document and you centralize this document where other people can use that, because otherwise you're going to be repeating yourself, and in the next time a new developer enters in the company, he or she will ask you or whatever other developer to do the same thing. So basically create a step by step, create a reusable document where people can follow so they don't need your time. Okay, yeah, awesome. Okay, Jider is saying here, hi guys, any advice if your English is not the best? Jider, so I have a suggestion. So one thing you can do, you can start writing articles, because that will improve your English a lot. And you can use the tool called Grammarly, because that will help you to correct your grammar, for example. So writing is one of the most powerful ways to learn a language. And chat, yeah, Said, yeah, that's good. Yeah, if you chat, if you have some friends, if you have a mastermind group, it's great for you to improve your English. And of course, change everything you have to English. So change your computer to English, change your cell phone to English, change your habits to English. You you watch everything in English, you consume every kind of content in English, then your English will improve for sure. So get exposure as much as possible. So that's my advice for you. Okay, so communicate effectively. So let's go. Communication. So Warren Buffett says that if you can't communicate, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens. If you can't communicate and talk to other people and get across your ideas, you're giving up your potential. So Warren Buffett said that. So I think that's enough to show you that how it's important. The process of communication. So you send a message, you encode the message in one way, and the receiver will decode the message in the other way, right? Sometimes in your environment there is noise, there are a lot of things happening, and your message, you're going to encode a message, and the receiver might receive your message in a completely different way. So if you forget to ask for feedback to the person, you might be miscommunicating with this person. So it's very important for you to ask for feedback. Hey, do you understand what I said? Does that make sense? So get into the habit of asking for feedback, because sometimes you think the message was delivered clearly, but sometimes it's not. This is even more true in different cultures, because if you're communicating to someone from another country, sometimes you're communicating, the thing you're saying might be misinterpreted. That happens a lot. So you have to ask for feedback, have to ask for clarification, have to ask, hey, is this clear? Sometimes you have to ask for clarity. You have to say, hey, this is what I understood. Is that correct? Sometimes you won't understand what the other person told you as well. So asking for feedback is a great way to reassure that whatever was the message was successfully understood. And tips for good communication. So you have to present yourself well. So you have to wear clothes that you feel well, that fits your body well. That's one of the best things you can do to appear more confident. So, for example, those jeans trousers that are very large, so it causes the impression that a person don't care about their clothes, and whether or not, people will judge you from what you wear. I know this is vain, this is horrible, but this is the truth. People will judge you because of your clothes. And when you're talking about something, you have to be clear about your topic. You can't be talking about a lot of things that nobody understands. You have to be clear and focused. leave your message effectively as well. So how can you do that? You can ask for feedback. You can say, hey, does that make sense? Can you explain to me back what you understood? In your body language, it's better for you to be always with good posture, because that shows confidence. And when you're talking as well, it's nice to do some gestures with your hands, because that looks nice, and that makes you look like more confident. So your body language is important, and your posture is also extremely important, because you won't be only more confident, but when you have a good posture, you're also taking care of your health, because if you have a good posture, it's far more unlikely that you're going to have a back pain, for example. Yeah, so check for understanding, like we said, ask appropriate questions so that you can clarify exactly the information you want. Actively listen. So when someone is telling you something, actively listen. So be careful to not ignore the person. So listen to the person and ask questions to clarify. And recap. So, for example, in this presentation, I will recap everything, because I know it's a lot of information in a short time. And so I'm going to recap everything so that you can retain my information. And the closure. The closure asks questions and everything else. Okay, we are in the last step. Let's see if we have more questions. The best is to invest in learning. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, so investing in learning is extremely important. Yeah, so you have to be always investing yourself to learn. And okay, let's go. Challenge 7: share your knowledge. So why should we share? Because by sharing your knowledge, you're gonna get the best job opportunities. So, and you also have something more rather than only your CV. And communication skills improvement. So you're gonna be working on your communication skills. You're gonna also solidify your knowledge. You're gonna grow as a person as well, and you're gonna have um, a more fulfilling career, because if you're able to share your knowledge and make other people learn from you, that's better. So you help other people in their career, and that's very fulfilling. So, and how can you share knowledge? You can share your knowledge by writing articles or creating videos. You have many things you can do. And then find your focus. So with focus, you have less competition. So the focus phrase I learned from Bruno Souza. Then you can create, for example, I help. So in my example, I told you already my focus phrase, help Java developers to break their career limits, so that they become highly paid software engineers, and they have more time for them and for their families. So you can create your own focus phrase. And yeah, I have other focus phrase as well. So and that's okay. And this is difficult to create, all right, guys? So don't feel pressured. But this focus phrase takes a long time. It might take a long time to create. So just to let you know. So if you decide to share your knowledge, you can create around 20 content titles. So that's so that you know that you can share about this, about the focus you chose. So for example, my focus with the Java Challenges initiative. So I've been sharing for a long time the Java quizzes, Java code challenges. And obviously, from time to time, I will change focus, because changing only one thing for a long time is also difficult, and you have to innovate from time to time. But choose a focus that you can create at least 20 content titles. Then you can start writing articles on DevTO, for example, or you can create your own blog. And why this is important? Because once you start sharing your knowledge, it's a powerful marketing tool for you. So companies will look at your blog, and uh, they will see how much you know. So it's a portfolio. Define how often you create content, because consistency is key. If you probably noticed that I've been creating article every week, and from time to time I change my focus, right? And that's okay, because your focus can be changed from time to time, but you also have to be consistent, because if you stop producing content all of a sudden, your audience will say, hey, what happened with Rafael? Hey, what happened with Vincent? Hey, what happened with uh, whoever? And then they're going to say, hey, he stopped sharing content, so I won't follow him anymore. So you have to be consistent, so that you bring this kind of a security feeling to your audience. So it's important for you to stay consistent. And as I said, to be consistent, you can't rely on motivation. You have to rely on discipline. So my cadence to post my content is once a week. If you think once a week is too much for you, you can post once a month. That's okay. Once a month, it's going to be 12 articles. Okay, so I'm gonna recap here everything we talked about. So we talked about getting clarity. We talked about, because without clarity, we can't even know what to do. So we need to know what are our big goals. And then we can create a weekly plan and say, hey, okay, these are my big goal, and I will do those weekly actions to accomplish this big goal. No bugs. It's the step where we talked a little bit about the technologies, and we talked about how to boost CV, because companies to ask for that. Effective communication is important in interview. You have to communicate clearly. We talked about learning quickly. So how important it is to understand the big picture of a technology, and how important is to define the success criteria. So sometimes you can define, okay, this is the success criteria to learn Docker with Java, how to negotiate your salary. I think one important thing is to not review your salary, because if you do that, you already lost the negotiation. Giving talks, you have to face your fears to give talks, and to give talks, start small. Give a talk to your friend of yours, and then you expand. Share your knowledge. That's so important. Why? Because you're going to market yourself, and companies will be willing to hire you. Companies will trust you even before talking to you in an interview, right? So that's the value of sharing your knowledge. You become a highly valued software engineer. And guys, this is the gift. So that I'm gonna give you. So this is the one-on-one conversation with me, and you're gonna get also the Golden Lessons book. So the Golden Lessons book is good for you to improve on your mindset, and I'm gonna give you the link here so that it's easier for you. And yeah, that was given by Bruno, the focus phrase, yes, and that's important. So this is the link, so it's easier for you. You can either use the link, or you can use the QR code, okay? And so this is a symbolic price, guys, because, for example, I already did 1 hour mentorship call, and I paid for this 1 hour $1,500, and it wasn't only one time. I paid that many times. And I paid many mentorships for me that was very expensive. So $1,500 is nothing compared to $20. So I'm gonna give you the book. I'm gonna give you the career conversation to help you gain clarity in your career. So that's a symbolic price. That's a symbolic price because I see other people helping developers in their careers, and they charge a lot. It's not only $20; it's more than 1,000. So it's a symbolic price because I want to see your level of commitment uh, to really go to the next level. And well, some of you here, well, I told you here that having a mentor is extremely important. So why having a mentor is extremely important? Well, I can tell you my example. So when I didn't have a mentor, I was lost and I was wasting my time. And by having a mentor, I grew in my career like in 1 year what I would grow in at least 10 years. Because, besides having a highly paid job, I also became a Java champion. So this is something that many developers, many high level developers in their entire career, in their whole life, will never achieve that. This is very hard. If I didn't have a mentor, I would never become a Java champion. It would be almost impossible. Maybe I would have a very remote chance, but so that's the importance of having a mentor. And another great thing about having a mentor is that your mentor will be accountable for you. So he will be helping you to take the action and say, "Hey, what's going on? Um, hey, Sharad. Hey, Vincent, what's going on?" So why are you not taking action to grow in your career? So we would be working, okay, so that's the problem. So let's go through this problem. Let's figure out what's going on. And yeah, so I dedicated a lot of time to help developers in their career. I did a mentorship of 1 year and I paid $10,000 in this mentorship. So it's been a lot of work. So as I did that, as I helped many developers to grow in their career, and I have real testimonies from those developers. Some of those developers, they double their salaries. For example, well, I have many examples. Davian, Andre, Gigo, um, Juan, all of them double their salaries. So I've been doing that, and I have many proof from those developers. And that's the opportunity, guys. So like I said, I did a mentorship. I paid $1,500 just for 1 hour of coach, and it makes a difference. 1 hour conversation, if you are very focused, yes, it makes a difference. So let's see here. We have more questions from Vincent. Okay, so you share a graphic lastly 12th of July on the career reputation. Can you speak about it? Yeah, so this wasn't my graphic. This was the graphic of Bruno. So basically, this graphic is, well, it's related to not be talking about you, right? So when you share your knowledge, nobody cares about you. So, and when I say nobody cares about you, nobody cares about me as well. Nobody cares. People care about how you can solve their problems, right? So I'm here to solve your problems. I'm not here to talk about myself. If I was here to talk about myself, no one would show up, right? So I'm here to help you in your career. So when you talk about me, nobody cares, and then you don't grow. So Bruno talks about that, and to have focus. So one of those those things in this graphic, Vincent, is that you have to have focus, because if you are very generalist on your content generation, you don't solve any problem. So you have to solve a specific problem. So what problem do you want to solve? Do you want to be good in performance? Do you want to build highly scalable projects? Do you want to be good on migrating monolith to microservices? Do you want to be really good on databases optimization? So choose your focus. Be very specific on the problem you solve. So there are many problems on software engineering, right? There are the problem of bugs, very bad code. You can be the guy who writes good code. You can be the guy who creates good performance on systems. You can be the guy who is good in architecture. There are many things to focus on. So if you have a clear focus, companies will start looking at you. Not only companies, other developers will admire you, because they're going to see, hey, Vincent has a great knowledge about performance, about security, or whatever you want. Choose your focus, very important. And when you share your knowledge, you become instantly an expert, right? And so yeah, this is a formula created by Javaman. So if I can summarize, focus, not talk about yourself, because nobody cares about you, about me. People care about how you can solve their problems. Companies care about how you can solve their problems, right? It's not about you, it's about their problems. And how important is it to write your personal documentation while working on a project? So I think, Mills, I think you mean code comments, code documentation. I'm not sure what is your question here. So you can reformulate your question. If you're talking about code documentation, that's very important, but I don't think you need documentation everywhere in the code. You just need documentation. I think the most important place where you can put documentation is in the API. Hello, Sharad. Okay. And Vincent has another question. And then now that you learn all of your mentor, do you have another one for next step? No, I will never reach my max, Vincent. Nobody will. So if you think you reached your max, you're already on your path to become obsolete. I will never go to my max. It's constant growth. It's forever, gonna be growing forever. So yeah, I have another mentor. And yeah, so it's fine, Vincent, to have many mentors. I have many mentors. It's not only one mentor who I have. And yeah, so for example, my next goal now is to become financially free. So I'm pursuing that goal, that big goal now. So that's my big goal now, to become financially free. Yeah, it's infinite path, yes. Those you mentor, did they have to move to another country? Some of them, yeah. Have the example of Denilson. He was working from Peru, and he moved to Portugal. So he's now working in Portugal. Davian is another example. He was working from Jamaica. He's now in the US. He got the double of his salary as well. Juan he was an exception because he got a job from Uruguay. So he's working remotely to the US. And so there are many examples. So my audience is global, and 100% of them are Java developers. And yeah, some of them, they got a job in their own country. Some of them are moved to another country. And guys, you still have the chance of scheduling this conversation with me. So who should schedule this conversation with me? developers who are experienced, developers who are at least intermediate or senior developers, because what I teach in this mentorship will not be trivial things, will not be something that you would learn as a junior developer, because as a junior developer you have to be learning only technical stuff. So it's not for junior developers, it's for experienced developers. Most of my mentees have something around 5 to 10 years plus. Developers who are ready for big changes, developers who want to grow, developers who are motivated to go to the next level, developers who are not afraid of going out of their comfort zone. Why this is valuable? Because I helped many Java developers to grow in their career, and I have proof of that. And I can even show you some of the testimonials. So in my mentorship, there was a developer called Thiago Sanjin, and he was 8 years stuck as an intermediate developer. And he was clearly a senior developer already. But then I figured out that he wasn't fully secure to talk to his manager and to ask for his promotion. And then when we finally went through his issues, we went through what he was, the challenges he was going, I could clearly see that he was already a senior. What was holding him back was his lack of confidence to talk to his manager. And then we worked together in the mentorship, and he was able to talk to his manager, and he was able to grow as a senior developer in less than 3 months. So he was stuck for 8 years. In less than 3 months, he was able to become a senior developer. So that's a great result as well. And have many other examples from Java developers who grew a lot in their career. And yeah, so yeah, developers who are ready for big changes, or even if you don't really want big changes, it's okay, because if you have at least 10% raise or 15% raise in your salary, it will be worth it already. But anyway, let's take this smaller step, just to have a conversation with me. Then we see if the mentorship is for you or not. And also in this conversation, so what's the benefit of this conversation? I will help you to get the clarity you need to know, okay, that's my path, that's what I have to do. And we're going to be talking about your problems, okay? And what else? So Umang is asking here, how do you start on writing good code? So Umang, so you have to understand some clean code principles. So you have to understand how to create good names for your classes, good names for your methods. You have to know about solid principles, have to know about object-oriented programming concepts. Design patterns also helps. You don't need to overuse design patterns, because if you do that, you're going to make your code look horrible. But I would say that knowing some clean code principles, like the single responsibility principle, if you are able to create classes and methods that do one thing very well, your code will be much better. If you create a code that does everything, then it's horrible code. You have to know how to write your code in a way that does one thing very well. And so obviously I recommend you the Clean Code book. I recommend understanding about solid principles, object-oriented programming. And if you are using a functional programming language, just make sure to create your code with high cohesion and low coupling. So if you can use those concepts, your code will be much better. Yeah, so what else I can tell you? Yeah, guys, so I'm gonna show you some testimonies here just to show you the results. Okay, so if you have any other questions, just send your question. And so, okay, let's see here. Can you see my screen? Yeah, you can see. So this is Giuseppe. Giuseppe is one of my mentees, and as you can see, he's giving talks. So he's having really good results. And yeah, there are many good results here. Let's see another one. So yeah, this is Thiago. He got a raise of 25% in his job. So that's a great result as well. And this Giuseppe, so he now has more than 3K subscribers in his channel. So he's rocking. He was first focused on Quarkus. Now he's focused on Golang. He also participated in the Red Hat channel, which is great achievement. And yeah, so you can see here, Thiago is another example. He got 25% raise in his job. And let's see more. This is Davian. As I told you, he got an opportunity in the US. He doubled his salary and he's working with the latest technologies. The mentorship has allowed him to have a clear vision, understand. Yeah, so he was working with legacy code. Java 6 was horrible. So yeah, so there are many results here I can show you. And this is Davian. Oh, sorry, this is Juan that I told you. When I started the mentorship, I had a lot of challenges. How Rafael and mentees helped me take seriously, blog full remotely. So he changed to be earning more than the double of his salary. So yeah, guys, so there's a lot of very good results here. Just wanted to show you a little bit of the results. And yeah, so that's the opportunity, guys. So now it's the opportunity to go here on the to schedule your career conversation, and also you can have the results. You can have the same results, or even you can get to what you want in your career by scheduling this conversation with me. Okay. And that's all, guys. So you have any questions, anything you would like to ask me? And after you do the purchase, to do the investment for this career conversation, you're going to receive a Calendly link on your email. And then you can schedule a conversation with me directly in the time that works for you. And you can send me an email if you want an alternative time. That should be okay. Okay, so Habib, I can invite you to be there. I can invite everyone to be there if you want. And then you can take a look there. But take the first step. What I recommend you, Habib, what I recommend everyone, is to take the first step and schedule the conversation with me. Because that will be an important conversation, and I will be helping you to go to the next level in your career, okay? But anyway, the Discord group is there. If you want to join there, feel free. And that's all. Any other questions? because I think that's pretty much it. Said, Vincent, Umang, Jaider, Mills, Evgeny. Any other questions? Awesome. Okay, so Said, yeah, bye bye, everyone. Thank you so much. And that's all. See you then in the next time. Bye bye. Thank you so much, Mills. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Awesome. Habib, look forward to talk to you. Okay? Okay. Talk to you then. Bye bye. Happy to see you guys. Bye bye.